Hi, it's Paul Beckwith, and I'm continuing my discussions on the some of these very large conferences that are relevant to climate change, specifically the AGU Science Conference that I'm attending in New Orleans in a week, and I've been talking about comparing that to the COPs. So if we go back here to the Conference of Parties, the Policymaker Climate Conference, this is an interesting graphic here. You can just click, okay, here we go. You can look at different countries here, and you can see there's Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, 492 delegates. They sent 492 people. You know, the population of the whole country is not even 24 million, and they sent 492 people to Bonn to the conference, okay, up in Germany. Even Germany had even half the number of delegates for 80, you know, you can look at a per capita basis. And, you know, the question is, why would all these there's Guinea, 355, there's Democratic Republic of Congo, 340 people, there's Congo, 308 people. You know, why would all these African countries, five of them, send the largest number of delegates to the conference? And, you know, I mean, they're not causing the problem. What about India? You know, 45 from India. What about, you know, Russia? 71 people from Russia. China, 82 people. You know, the US, 48 people. So we've got China, the biggest emitter. We've got the US, the next biggest. US is always ahead of China until recently. We've got India, a huge up-and-coming emitter. We've got all of the European countries, and you know what happens? The African countries, you know, they're more concerned or treat climate change more seriously. They're being affected. You know, they won't be able to grow food soon because things are drying out too much. It's just like you have to really wonder about what's going on. And if you can go down, you can scroll down here and look at all the other countries that are sending people. So most of the countries are represented. Okay, so I talked a bit about gender balance. Now getting back to the American Geophysical Union, you know, 5-to-1 ratio of males to females in these conferences. Okay, so we need more females in science. There's some more statistics, but I'm not going to dwell on this. Talking about other societies, I mean, the Royal Society was formed in 1660. I just mentioned this because, you know, we saw when the AGU started in 1919, I believe it was. This is the oldest society. This is one of the oldest, or one of the, I think it's the oldest in the world, okay? Founded in November 1660. Now, if all of this stuff is, so, you know, we had 40,000 people attending Paris 2015, COP21. COP23, you know, 20,000 plus. We have the AGU conference, 24,000 last year, probably a similar number this year. Got the EGU, 15,000. Those are all scientists. Same with the AGU. They're mostly scientists. And look at all the media that goes to the COPs. And I haven't talked about media at AGU, but it's a fraction. It's nowhere near what goes the numbers that go to the COPs. So you kind of wonder, you know, why are we in this predicament with climate change? Why we have to declare a climate change emergency. We have to slash fossil fuel emissions. We have to pull carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere using carbon dioxide removal methods. To face this emergency, we have to deploy solar radiation management technologies to cool the Arctic specifically, or the planet. Like we're in an emergency, and yet we have all of these people because these are all specialists, right? They're not, you know, most of these people aren't looking at the big picture. They're just they're working, they're getting grants, and they don't want to say too much to rock the boat. They're starting to say more because they also have families, but you know, climate change is accelerating. We're in abrupt climate change, and we have a huge problem. And all of these mechanisms that we have, all of these societal things have failed to address the problem So we're in a pickle, basically. So what do we do? Well, you can go to this conference for one thing. The world's largest scientific happiness conference kicks off. Okay, so this was July 13th of this year in Montreal. Okay, it was the 5th World Congress on Positive Psychology. Okay, the International Positive Psychology Association. Okay, they had all kinds of talks. It's a scientific conference, right? They had this is the father of positive psychology, Martin Seligman, Learned Optimism and Authentic Happiness, best-selling author. Sonia Lyubomirsky, the author of The How of Happiness, a scientific approach to getting the life you want. There you go. So climate, if you get down on climate change, and, we have all of these people that have been trying, we've had 23 COPs, and look what's happened. Look at our emissions at record high levels. Greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, record high levels. Sea ice dropping exponentially. Snow, the fires in California are horrendous. The hurricanes this year. I mean, everything is hitting the fan, right? And we have all these people going to these conferences, and are they addressing the problem? They're not even aware it's a climate change emergency. So one of the reasons I'm going is to try to stir the pot a little bit, which is what I tried to do in the COP conferences that I went to. So in the meantime, if this week, maybe we'll all be going to this soon, right? To stave off, to stay healthy emotionally. So there you go. I didn't even know this conference existed. And this reminds me that GDP, is a horrible measure. We need, people talk about GDH, gross domestic happiness. Isn't that more important for a country than just how much the GDP is? And GDP is a horrible measure. Economists even agree it's a horrible measure. Whenever there's climate change disasters, those are all good for GDP because you have to rebuild everything. Right. So anyway, it's a bit crazy. So here's the, like I said, if you go to AGU 2017, Google AGU 2017, go to the website. There's a mobile app you can download, and you can have a look at all the events on that, or you can just click on the fall meeting scientific program, and it brings you to this. So here we go. So I want to show you, I got to decide what talks to go to. And at any given time, so I get there, it's 8 o'clock Monday morning or Tuesday morning or whatever, and I look at the schedule, I can go to 50 talks. Like, how do I ever going to decide which talks to go to? This is the whole problem. So if you go to search, okay, so you can search, I clicked on abstract. I want to look at the abstracts of the talks. I want to search for nitrous oxide, but not nitrous separately from oxide. Both of them have to appear, nitrous oxide, in that order. And it brings up all the talks and the times and the room numbers that they're in. So lots of talks, for example, on nitrous oxide. Okay, if I want to look up a person, okay, let's put a couple names in here. Okay. Say I want to look up Jennifer Francis, so you can do this, right? Just do a search. Okay. What? It's looking up all the Jennifers. Maybe it's because it's not capitalized. JENNIFERFRANCIS. The Jetstream lady. Okay, let's search again. Forget the abstract. Okay. Francis, Jennifer, try that. What's going on here? There we go. At least it switched it. Francisco. Sorry. Let me try something here. Let me just hit the enter key. There we go. Okay. Jennifer, I don't know. It's not working for me right now. Why not? Okay, let's try somebody else. Michael Mann. Search. Start. What is going on here? There we go. Person. Search. It's still finding the A's. I have no idea. It worked a minute ago, I promise. Okay, anyway, you can search for people. Sorry for the confusion here. I don't know what's going on. You can search for topics. Let's say methane. There we go. Okay, so this will bring up the titles of all the abstracts. You can click on an abstract. So this is a global ground-based network of instruments measuring greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. There's methane, okay? So it searches all the abstracts and it finds where methane is. So it's a very useful feature to find out what talks you want to go to. So let me do jet streams. So jet plus streams, and we'll do the search. Okay, so here we go. Jet streams precursor of the Russian earthquake. Well, let's see what's going on with this. So the jet stream was crossing a region, and then the jet stream shifted location, the pressure changed, and there was a 7.7 earthquake in Russia. So the writing here is a bit mangled grammatically. It says that when there's an earthquake too, you can get radon released at the epicenter. That reacts with water in the air, releases heat. That heat causes the temperature to rise, the pressure drops, so the jet stream position moves. So it looks like a coupled phenomena back and forth. I think that would be pretty controversial. Okay, so what else do we have here? You can go down here. And these are all the jet stream talks, and here we go, sensitivity of the jet stream to Arctic temperatures. The Arctic's been rapidly warming and so on, and we can find out information. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I have to go through this very carefully. Obviously not at the time, to me to rush through to try to identify which talk I want to be and where I want to be. Obviously this is something you have to strategically and tactically plan out to make your most. You can't go to everything. You want to go to a good selection of everything. I recommend that, if there's any talks that I really should go to, according to you, drop me a line. Let me know. And these talks are generally, they're generally 15 minutes. The speaker gets 12 minutes. There's 3 minutes for questions. There's there's an accurate timekeeper. They don't let you run over because people are moving from room to room, and if it doesn't synchronize, you'll go in halfway through talks and so on. So there's massive numbers of talks. Your brain gets kind of saturated. It's hard to last a full week doing this. What I'm planning on doing is, the areas that I figure are most, let me do some other searches. So if I just do a search for, let's do a search for climate. Okay, so there's loads, of course, on climate. I could do them on aerosols or clouds. Let's do something interesting for the conspiracy people. Chemtrails. Let's do a search on that. Okay, so here's there's absolutely nothing. Geez, chemtrails. It's a hoax. It's a bunk. I mean, none of these scientists think it's real. You can do geoengineering. You can do solar radiation management, CDR, because those are things that I say we need to deploy. So thank you.